Our Roy Rogers restaurants are having one mighty special sale.
Sale? I must have a coupon somewhere.
But you don't need a coupon. Just choose a big delicious hamburger or bacon cheeseburger or famous real roast beef sandwich or 2 pieces of fried chicken for only 99 cents each.
Maybe it's in here.
And you can order as many as you want. And you don't need a coupon.
No coupon.
No coupon. It's Roy Rogers' 99-cent sale.
Only 99 cents and you don't need a coupon.
Ma'am, I never need a coupon.
Roy Rogers Franchise Company, LLC is a chain of fast food restaurants, primarily located in the Mid-Atlantic and northeastern United States. The chain originated as the rebranding of the RoBee's House of Beef chain of Fort Wayne, Indiana, acquired by the Marriott Corporation in February 1968. However, Marriott first used the Roy Rogers roast beef name on conversions of the company's junior hot shops in the Washington, D.C. area in April 1968, than the existing RoBee's stores. An aggressive nationwide franchising campaign was launched. At its peak, the chain included over 600 locations. The chain now has 37 locations in 6 states, either company-owned or franchised.
Family Fun Bucks from Roy Rogers and Great Adventure.
When you and your family come into Roy Rogers, you can save up to $20 when you visit Great Adventure. With Family Fun Bucks, you save on admission, food, games, and surprises. You'll meet Bugs Bunny, thrill to the all-new looping starship, go on a drive-through safari, and so much more. It's a summer shower of savings.
Come into participating Roy Rogers today to get your Family Fun Bucks.
The Roy Rogers chain was sold in 1990 to Amasco, then the parent company of Hardee's, and experienced severe decline as many locations converted to Hardee's. In 2002, the trademark was purchased by Plamondon Companies. Roy Rogers' menu consists primarily of hamburgers, roast beef sandwiches, fried chicken, 9 side items, including French fries, and beverages. Many locations also serve breakfast. In 1967, the Azar's Big Boy restaurant franchise started RoBee's House of Beef restaurants in Fort Wayne, Indiana. The Marriott Corporation, which had acquired Bob's Big Boy and the Big Boy trademark in 1967, acquired RoBee's in February 1968 with plans to expand nationwide. RoBee's franchises would first be offered to Big Boy franchisees to coincide with their existing Big Boy territory. At the time there were 13 RoBee's restaurants in 6 states. During the acquisition, in January 1968, the competing roast beef chain Arby's sued RoBee's for trademark infringement and other similarities that it considered unfair competition, because RoBee's sounded too much like Arby's. The settlement required a new brand name and Marriott wanted something recognizable. Big Boy founder Bob Wyan, then sitting on Marriott's board of directors, was friends with Roy Rogers' agent and suggested that the company approach Rogers about the use of his name. Already interested in associating with a chain restaurant, Rogers was in similar discussions with another company when Marriott called. Nonetheless, he accepted Marriott's offer. Rogers would receive a licensing fee for use of his name and also be paid for personal appearances at the restaurants. 12. The restaurants would be called Roy Rogers Roast Beef Sandwich Restaurants, and despite Arby's complaints, 9. It retained RoBee's building design and covered wagon logo design.
Hi, this is Jimmy Crane from Roy Rogers, and whenever I'm throwing a party, I like to get the new bucket of chicken from Roy Rogers. You know, when I do, it makes me feel as hip as Paul Schaefer.
You know, people are constantly asking me, Paul, what's the hippest, hottest new idea? Well, it's Roy Rogers' bucket of chicken, babe. When it's cold outside, we can make it hip and hot inside. Well, here's the gang now, babe. Hey, where's David? I thought David was invited. Cool, babe. Oh, what a taste. Roy Rogers.
Several major Big Boy franchisees accepted Marriott's offer and became Roy Rogers regional franchisees. Note 1, including Abdow's, 17, Frisch's, 18, Elias Brothers, 19, Mark's, 20, and Shoney's, 16, which together covered much of the northeastern, Midwest and southern U.S. Pittsburgh franchisee Eden Park rejected the offer and took public offense at paying fees to Rogers. 21. In the Pittsburgh area and elsewhere, other regional franchisees were sought who would also sub-franchise to smaller operators, and by January 1969, Marriott claimed regional franchises for every state but Alaska. 22. Roy Rogers restaurants also opened in Canada, franchised to that nation's big boy franchisee, JB's of Canada.
Yo, welcome to Roy Rogers. Just look at this nice family here. They know that the best thing on Roy's menu is hamburgers. Smart boy, because you get unlimited fixins at Roy's new improved Fixin's bar. Hey, who else in town lets you make your own burger? Nobody. So go crazy. Get creative. At Roy's free Fixin's bar, you can do things to a hamburger that you'd never do to a chicken. Don't you even think about it.
Marriott divided the United States into 33 franchise regions and required regional franchisees open a set number of restaurants in a 4-year period. Regional franchisees would pay Marriott a 2% royalty, and sub-franchisees typically pay the regional franchisee 3%, who would keep the additional 1%. A restaurant required a $35,000 cash investment up front, including $7,500 paid to Marriott. Additionally, the cost of the building and equipment, with seating for 42 persons, cost about $100,000 in 1968, excluding the cost of land. Marriott offered financing but charged an interest rate of 12% on land and 17% for the building. The prototype restaurant seated 40 to 45 persons with additional outdoor seating on an optional patio in front of the building, but actual restaurants varied, one franchisee's dining area accommodating 75 persons.
I swear I'm from New York! You gotta believe me! Ever since Roy started the New York-only chicken deal, people from other cities have been coming here impersonating New Yorkers just to get our chicken. I got subway tokens, gold chain! Not even close, jerk. I mean, yeah, getting a 2-piece dinner and fries for $2.79 is a great deal. But hey, let them get their own deal. Excuse me, hey, we got another one here!
The New York-only chicken deal at Roy's.
The first Roy Rogers restaurant opened up on co-founder and Hot Shops manager, Henry L. Wright's property in April 1968 in the Bailey's Crossroads section of Falls Church, Virginia, on the corner of Leesburg Pike and Carlin Springs Road, 5603 Leesburg Pike. Another opened at 5214 River Road in Bethesda, Maryland. The area was selected because Marriott was headquartered in metropolitan Washington, D.C., the River Road unit located directly across the street. Marriott executives and Marriott family members were frequent patrons of this store. These first locations were conversions of Junior Hot Shops, Marriott's existing fast food chain. In May 1968, RoBee's units began to open as Roy Rogers. Rogers made a 4-state tour of namesake restaurants in the southern U.S., appearing at each location for an hour, shaking hands, and handing out signed photographs. Filming for the first television commercials advertising Roy Rogers restaurants took place in the Apple Valley, California area where Rogers lived with his family. In 1968 and 1969, Rogers and friends Earl Bascom and Mel Marion were filmed at various locations including the historic Los Flores Ranch in Summit Valley and the Campbell Ranch in Victorville.
Club. Holy moly, look at all that chicken and bacon. Oh man, and toppings. Come on, let's get it. All right. Hit the music.
Oh man, the glass. I forgot the glass.
Roy's new Big Chicken Club. Only for a limited time.
Limited time. Hit the music.
1968 to 1989, growth and challenges. Rapid growth began in 1968 and Marriott made optimistic projections. In October 1968, there were reportedly 38 units open and 65 under construction, and by December, 56 opened with 39 under construction. Marriott projected 700 or more Roy Rogers restaurants in 4 years, 28. By June 1969, 105 units were open with a new projection of 870 in 4 years. A February 1970 newspaper article reported that over 160 units were in operation. However, growth halted in 1970, when Marriott suspended Roy Rogers franchising, due to financial losses from closing failing locations. The following year, the Texas-based regional franchise, Ramhart Systems, filed for Chapter 11 protection, asking to terminate unprofitable leases, which made the entire chain unprofitable. 35. After franchising resumed, only 172 restaurants were open by September 1972, a quarter of the 700 stores projected 4 years earlier.
Why are people in New York waking up earlier? Rise and shine to crispy bacon. Rise and shine to fluffy pancakes, handmade from scratch biscuits. Hardee's Rise and Shine breakfast is now at Roy Rogers. Right now, you can get a pancake platter, cinnamon raisin 2-pack, or sausage egg biscuit for only 99 cents. Now at Roy's.
In 1976, a Roy Rogers in Fairfax, Virginia was robbed, where 5 employees were herded into the restaurant's freezer and shot in the head. Only one survived. On August 30, 1977, Roy Rogers was struck by a cottage cheese pie thrown by a 17-year-old while Rogers and his Sons of the Pioneers singers were performing at a Fairfax restaurant. The youth pleaded guilty a month later and was fined $100. In 1982, Marriott bought the Geno's restaurant chain for $48.6 million. The company converted 180 of the 313 restaurants to Roy Rogers to expand in the Baltimore/Washington area. Also in 1982, Marriott sued the Reese family, a franchisee, when they discovered the Reeses were planning to relocate a Roy Rogers restaurant with a Haagen-Dazs and a Pizza Hut in Times Square. The Reese family won the suit, and the Reese organization later developed other food courts in New York City. 1990 to 1997, Hardee's. In 1990, Marriott sold the chain for $365 million to Amasco, the parent company of Hardee's, a Midwestern and Southern chain seeking further expansion into the Mid-Atlantic market. The remaining non-franchised Roy Rogers locations were converted into Hardee's restaurants, although many of the converted Hardee's continued to offer Roy Rogers fried chicken. This conversion caused a customer revolt and the units returned to the Roy Rogers brand. The restaurants promoted new flame-broiled hamburgers, but they were not the same as the original Roy Rogers products and later failed. Hardee's finally sold the remaining Roy Rogers locations to McDonald's, Wendy's, and Boston Market between 1994 and 1996, 44, 45, 46. This left 13 Roy Rogers franchisees, with 24 freestanding locations, in addition to locations owned by HMS Host in travel plazas along highways in the Northeast.
When I was a kid, I could always tell who made my sandwich. Mom made boring stuff, like peanut butter. But when Dad made my sandwich, it was incredible. Well, I just tasted Roy Rogers' new sourdough club with ham and turkey and Swiss and tomato and bacon on toasted sourdough bread. Man, it really took me back. Because those days Dad made my sandwich were great. Except those were usually the days he dressed me, too.
Prior to the Hardee's acquisition, Roy Rogers cooked its fries in a blend of beef tallow and vegetable oil. Hardee's, which had already replaced tallow with all vegetable shortening, implemented the same procedure for Roy Rogers. 1997 present, CKE, Amasco, Plamondon companies. In 1997, CKE Restaurants acquired Hardee's from Amasco, but Amasco retained the Roy Rogers trademark and franchise system. The Reese family, which owned 18 Roy Rogers restaurants, sued CKE Restaurants and Amasco for $10 million in 1997, claiming the Roy Rogers chain has been destroyed through a series of marketing errors of epic proportions. Amasco sold Roy Rogers to Plamondon Enterprises, now Plamondon Companies, in 2002. After 3 years of negotiation, Roy Rogers was relaunched as Roy Rogers Franchise Company, LLC. Plamondon had already opened the first new Roy Rogers restaurant in Frederick, Maryland, in 2000. At the time of the sale, there were 63 existing Roy Rogers franchises in 9 states. In 2021, Roy Rogers announced a strategy to build concentrically out of core markets in the Mid-Atlantic, like Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. The growth circle would slowly get bigger and include New York, the Eastern Seaboard, and states like Ohio, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. 53. The next year, the company announced a new partnership with One Holland Corporation Restaurant Group and planned to open 10 new Roy Rogers locations over the next 6 years in the Cincinnati metropolitan area. The new locations would be in Hamilton, Butler, and Claremont counties in southwest Ohio, Boone, Kenton, Campbell counties in northern Kentucky, and Dearborn County in southeast Indiana.
A while back, a great man left Washington, went home to California. You know him, the actor, the big Double R. Well, now he's back. Roy Rogers!
Roy Rogers' new family buckets are perfect for busy parents. Pick up a bucket of Roy's incredible fried chicken, a bucket of juicy roast chicken, or a bucket with both. Now just $7.99 each. Plus, every bucket is capped with a free flying disc. It'll keep your kids entertained for hours.
Uh-oh.
Okay, minutes.
One of a kind taste. Roy Rogers.
Some things to consider when you're stuck in morning traffic. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. So consider this, a detour for Roy's $1.99 breakfast deal.
Roy Rogers.
New Roy's Roasters. We marinate them, cover them in herbs and spices, baste them with a honey glaze, and slow roast them until they're golden. So, what are you taking home for dinner? A one-of-a-kind place for a one-of-a-kind taste.
Welcome to Roy Rogers, where the chickens come home to roast. Right now, get a quarter roaster with cornbread and your choice of 2 sides for just $2.99. Or feed a family of 4 with 4 quarters, cornbread, and your choice of 2 large sides for just $9.99. Take them back to the nest. Have a wing-ding. Roy's Roasters, the chicken that rules the roost.
Though standard Roy Rogers locations serve food in a typical fast food fashion, some locations, such as the locations that were formerly junior hot shops, and the franchises located throughout Mid-Atlantic Highway rest stops serve the food in a cafeteria style. An exception is the Allentown Service Plaza on the Pennsylvania Turnpike's northeast extension, which serves its customers in the typical fast food fashion since it reopened in May 2008. The entire Service Plaza had been rebuilt from its original form, which included cafeteria-style serving. In the cafeteria-style restaurants, customers push their trays on rails past stations stocked with pre-wrapped packages of hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and roast beef sandwiches. A feature of this chain in any of the locations is the Fixin's bar, which features numerous condiments. Due to this feature, sandwich items are delivered without any of the customary garnishes. After selecting and paying for these items, patrons can garnish them to their own taste at the Fixin's bar with such items as ketchup, barbecue sauce, mayonnaise, horseradish sauce, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and onions. Numerous locations offer hand-dipped milkshakes made with Eddie's ice cream. Popular items on the menu are roast beef sandwiches and fried chicken, which was advertised by Roy Rogers under the Pappy Parker name beginning in the 1970s using a cartoon prospector. The Pappy Parker name was inherited from Marriott's original Hot Shops chain. Other signature items at Roy Rogers are the Gold Rush chicken sandwich, a fried chicken breast with bacon, a slice of Monterey Jack cheese, and a honey-based barbecue sauce, and the Double R Bar Burger, a cheeseburger with ham. The side items featured at Roy Rogers are French fries, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes with gravy, and baked beans. Seasonal items that select Roy Rogers locations occasionally offer include the beer-battered cod sandwich and platter,